Hey there, Wondering Watchers. Welcome to the super detailed pick a card reading to explore the ways that you've changed in someone's eyes in terms of their initial impressions of you and how they see you now. Whether it's one of your friends or a romantic interest that you're wondering about, this tarot reading digs into their initial and current perspectives about you as a person and in your ability to truly connect with someone else. Keep in mind that the cards for this reading only provide perspective and that your choices and your actions lead to the ultimate truth of your situation. You have agency over your life and you make the decisions about how you experience it. For those of you ready right now to find out about your person's initial impression of you versus how they see you now, the link to each reading is in the description box below. For those of you who want to really connect to the vibe of the person on your mind for this reading, then I have more to tell you. In front of me, there are 3 gemstone figurines that represent the different readings. For group number 1, we have this turquoise cat. For reading number 2, group number 2, we have this black obsidian dog. For group number 3, the third reading, we have this Aventurine Owl. For each reading, I'll be using cards from each of these oracle decks, plus 2 tarot decks that will be different for each group reading. You can pick the figurine that you feel drawn to the most. You can choose one that represents the vibe of the person you're wondering about, or you can pick one randomly. If you want to find out how different people feel about you, or if you've had a complicated history with someone in particular, then feel free to pick more than one. Trust your intuition to lead you to the right reading for you. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time to tune into the figurine choices. Once you made your decision, go to the description box and click on the link for the corresponding group. So now it's time to tap into these figurines, choose your then versus now tarot adventure, and let's make magic happen. Welcome back. This is the reading for group number 1, those who picked the turquoise cat to reveal your person's first impression of you and how they see you now. So, group number 1, let's take a look at the first impression that your person had of you. You have growth. So, group number 1, your person thought that you were in the period of kind of transforming, learning certain life lessons and figuring out what to let go of, what to hold on to. You have death here. So, and you figuring out, what to let go of and what to hold on to. It could be that you were going through a breakup, you were going through a move of some sort, transition. Maybe you were, graduating from college, or you were kind of like, I feel like it has to do with some type of like graduation or transition period, like going from high school to college or college to grad school, or from like, getting your AA to going to a bachelor degree, something along those lines. And here you have this energy card. So their initial impression of you, it seems like they felt you possibly had to go through that transition to really fully embrace the type of, not just the person you are going to become, but even to figure out like what your desire was going to be next. So if you were moving, kind of like still trying to get your bearings there, to kind of be like, okay, this is where I'd want to hang out, this is where I'd want to spend my time, that type of thing. You have the 12th house of introspection. So group number 1, your person initially really felt that you were internalizing a lot of what was going on for you. Um, it could be that whatever this transition was, you were focusing on how it was really changing you, your, not just your, how you see yourself, but how you see the world. And kind of who you would confide in, who you would really trust to share your deepest fears with, or your, greatest hopes. You have Mars motion. So group number one, their first impression of you is that basically you were trying to figure out, like I said, like this energy, where you would want to spend your time, but also what would energize you, what would give you that passion, that desire, that motivation on what it is that would be your next step. And then you have transits, climate. So group number one, they were kind of thinking initially that, perhaps you're going to be someone that would be an acquaintance that would just pass them by in life, or not necessarily spend a lot of time with each other or influencing each other. So let's see what else they thought of you. You have Okra, fortitude, confidence. So the confidence that they felt that you had is kind of like this growth card over here. I personally am not a fan of okra. My mom drinks the okra juice because it's supposed to somehow keep her young looking, and it works. That's what she wants to believe, that works. But here it's a sense of you, they kind of felt that whatever confidence you were putting out for people to see was tougher than you are really on the inside. It's as if you wanted to have more of a tough exterior, to possibly to kind of hide these internal, like, fears and hopes. You have here hydrangea, gratitude, peace. So group number one, your person's first impression of you was that you were, again, not only trying to come off like harder and more confident and harder on the exterior, but that you probably were really searching for a place where you could be yourself, where you could just be, you could just be and not have to be something. A sense of really wanting to kind of figure out what your direction was, so you could just go ahead and go in that direction and be whoever you needed to be, so you could just be in the present moment. And you have Wolfsbane, magic, transformation. So group number one, your person's initial impression of you was that you were going through some type of transformation, some type of internal struggle that ultimately it was up to you to decide if, how you were going to turn out. Obviously, that's always going to be your choice, but that you could decide if this was going to be something that was going to be a difficult struggle for you, or something that you would embrace and have more be like a transformation, like a butterfly or like a dragonfly, where you go from one state of being and then transform into something that in the process breaks down the old, in not a very pretty or graceful way, but come out being in a totally different environment. Like, going from that caterpillar or a nymph state where you are really on the ground, and then going to that butterfly and dragonfly transformation where you're no longer like crawling on the ground, you're flying in a whole different environment. So it was really up to you how you were going to take that. And I do think it's interesting how like you've got these greens and blacks and reds that really kind of embody the growth, death, and energy here. So let's get into some tarot cards here to find out more about their initial impressions of you, group number 1. So let's take a look at what they thought your potential for a connection was. You have 9 of Swords. It says fear. So they really thought that you were kind of going through so much that you wouldn't really even not notice them, but that you were going on with so much yourself that they were just hoping that you could find yourself in a better place, and that you needed to be in a better place before there was any real connection between the two of you. So let's see how they thought you portrayed yourself to others. You have this Star card here. So group number 1, they felt that you were portraying yourself to others as someone who had been through some type of ordeal. Like I said, if you just had graduated or just moved to a new city, kind of gone through a struggle of some sort, and we're coming out the other side trying to get your bearings, trying to find balance, but also kind of on an uphill, like an upward motion of where you were going. Not necessarily that you had, well, kind of like you were going through ups and downs, but still trying to find balance in that. So let's see what they thought about your confidence. You have 6 of Swords, transition. So they felt that, you wanted to save face, but they knew you were in this transformation period and possibly could use the help. And I think it's interesting how you've got like the Star in this 6 of Swords, and it seems like it's still like these ups and downs. So yeah, it seems like there was a lot of like anxiety, stress going on. You're trying to make it seem like everything's okay, and kind of like, hey, I've got this, things are going to be better. But you could really, maybe outwardly you asked for help, or secretly, internally, you were wanting help. So let's see about how they thought you would treat others. You have beginnings. So they really did see you as treating new, maybe not new people, but people that you weren't familiar with, or, going to a coffee shop or a restaurant and just being like really open to that new experience. So really welcoming. That's kind of, and not feeling like you had expectations of others or that they had to meet a certain standard of yours. So let's see what they thought about your trustworthiness. Ace of Cups, love. They felt that you were someone who, if given this cup of love, of emotion, of trust, it'd be something that you would really embrace wholeheartedly and really cherish. So if someone was willing to confide in you and believe in you in a certain way, they thought you would really appreciate that. So let's see how they thought you would deal with conflict. 9 of Discs, culmination. So they felt like whatever you were going through, that you had enough life experience and were grounded enough to not necessarily put any issues or struggles that you were going through on someone else or project that onto someone else. So you would own up to whatever issues you had, and you would expect the same of others. So let's see what they hoped for the future of your connection at that time. 4 of Discs, stability. So they were just hoping that you would find some, stability in yourself, possibly getting a job, um, if you were moving, getting settled into your place, but really just trying to find or hoping that the connection that you had was based on you really feeling aligned in your mind, body, your spirit, your heart, and kind of going from there. So now let's get into your person's current impression of you. So let's see here. Their current impression of you, group number 1. You have a tame and a tane. You got this horse here. So they do currently, they see you as someone who has had to kind of break yourself into a certain routine. And they have seen you reach this kind of stability where you kind of know, not the ropes, but you know the routine. You know what's expected of you. You know how you can get yourself in a certain mindset, how to prepare for a certain obstacle, and kind of to pace yourself for like a certain outcome. You have nourishment while waiting. So group number 1, your person, they currently see you as someone who is still in that growth period, but you at least now know what you need to do in terms of research, in terms of getting your resources together, and kind of prepare for what is ahead, possibly better than you had before. But now you have better than you can imagine, and you've got this dragonfly where they have this, here's that nymph and here's that dragonfly. So it is a sense of like you are still going through this transition, but they see you really recognizing that you can't, not that you can't, but trying to really break through those limiting beliefs that you may have had in the past, this 9 of Swords aspect, and really working on how you think about yourself, your current condition, who supports you, and what you're capable of. So let's see what else in terms of how they see you now. You have career. So they see you really putting this planning and foresight into your career. Perhaps the stability that they were hoping you would achieve, you are kind of really, really moving forward in that. You have passion. So this energy here and this Mars motivation. So they currently see you as really knowing how to direct the energy, your desires, your motivation, your passion to advance yourself, whether it's in your personal endeavors, perhaps you want to have a certain workout routine or some type of be able to do some line dancing, something along those lines. They're able to see how you can really set a goal and not see the obstacles as stressful challenges and all the time, but more just like how you can strengthen yourself almost. And you have financial health. So group number 1, your person, they currently see you as really, really putting not all your efforts, majority of your efforts on your material wealth and stability, and even your physical health. Perhaps your physical health somehow, physical emotional health is somehow related to your finances. So let's see what else we have here. We have this Start Now card. So group number 1, your person really feels like you are getting to, like I said, not necessarily see obstacles as such a struggle and just a horrible situation, but as a game, a way for you to look at a situation and strengthen your ability to analyze or spot certain important key facts, or to, strengthen your mind, your spirit, your body. You have this trip card. So group number 1, your person really feels that you have a lot further that you could go. A lot, possibly even, making another move, whether that's in your career or a physical move in residence. And you have this destiny card. So it seems that your person feels that you were destined to find each other, be part of each other's lives. So we're going to take this tarot deck before we use the field tarot for the initial impressions. Oops. And now we are going to take the tarot of oneness and find out their current impressions. So let's see, what do they currently think of your connection? You have 7 of Wands. So they currently feel that they've had to kind of put themselves in your face almost as someone who is willing to be there for you, to support you, and to be an advocate for you. Perhaps they thought, maybe you thought that they were someone who was going to be more on the periphery, but they've had to kind of almost force themselves into your view as someone that does care for you and will be there to support you. So let's see how they think you portray yourselves to others at this point. You have this 7 of Pentacles. So you portray yourself as someone who is hardworking, someone who really is motivated on getting your finances together, to have, a stable source of income, someone who is willing to put in that effort for your career and financial health. So let's see about your confidence at this point. You have the 4 of Swords. So they feel like you now are able to be on your own and not necessarily stress about what other people think. Not necessarily that you stressed about it before, but your time alone before was like over analyzing and over worrying about things that are outside of your control. So now, in terms of what you can handle in terms of stress or anxiety, you're able to manage things. So you're able to kind of walk away from situations that aren't really serving you. And that might require you to take time away from others, but they see that as not necessarily hiding, but confident enough to be like, no thanks, I'm going to take some time for myself. So let's see about how they think you treat others. You have Action of Pentacles. So they feel like you really do invest in other people, that you really care about others, that you spend time on other people, like you really want to help them in terms of like perhaps giving them advice about things that like if you are, trying to be a financial advisor, then, you want to help your friends kind of be on that path where they are looking forward to that outcome where you might not know exactly what it is for you, but you want to help them get there as well. So let's see what they think of your trustworthiness, group number 1. You have here the Chariot. So they feel like you have your act together. If there is some issue, like some obstacle between you and someone else, you are willing to like make sure like you are identifying the different issues and working through them. It's not anything that you want to gloss over. So let's see what they think about how you, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So conflict. So in terms of conflict, you have the Tower here. That's interesting because in terms of trustworthiness, they feel like you would work together, like work issues together. But in terms of conflict, it's almost as if they do think that you might just let things brew until it kind of explodes. But it could be because you are trying to make sure that you are taking care of yourself first. So in terms of your trustworthiness, they do see that you will work through something, but you don't necessarily want to be the person calling it out. You don't want to necessarily be the person who's making a big deal when there's not a big deal going on. So it's almost as if you have to wait for things to get to a state of whatever disruption has to happen for things to be figured out. But they do think you will take that time to figure things out when that happens. So let's take a look at what they see about the future for your connection. You have the Awakening card here. So this is the equivalent of the Judgment card. So they do feel like there is a need for you to reflect honestly about some things, possibly about how you deal with conflict, and how you deal with your energy, this passion, motivation. So here, Mars, this is like a planet associated with aggression, wars. So group number 1, if you have issues with anger or frustration, then, or like issues with it in the sense of not wanting to get to that point, or you get to that point either easily. One of those things, that's either one of those. That's something that they want you to reflect on, and possibly about why it is that there's still like a you versus them kind of concept going on. So I think it's interesting. You got the 7 of Wands, you got the 7 of Pentacles, and the Chariot, which is the 7th major arcana card. And 7s have to do with examination of skill and assessments. It's really trying to figure out whether or not something is worth moving forward, if something is moving forward, or something moving forward, like how to approach it. So like reassessments and tests and examinations of will and so forth. So this is what I have for you. I hope this is a helpful perspective of your person's first impression of you and how they see you now. We'll see you next time. Take care. Welcome back. This is the reading for group number 2, those who picked the Black Obsidian dog, to dig into your person's first impression of you and how they see you now. So group number 2, let's get into your person's first impressions of you. You have this Rest card. So it seems that they saw that you were tired, drained of energy, really needing some time out for yourself. You have this Confidence card. So group number 2, they also saw behind your tired exterior that you are someone who is, for the most part, assured of yourself and your place in your environment. You are someone that really, and kind of, whether you see the glass is half empty or half full, you're a half full or almost full kind of person. And you have this Death card. So it seems that perhaps they felt that you needed to recover something that had to do with losing something or growing out of something, um, maturing, kind of evolving out of something. So let's see if we can get more information about that. You have debilitated discomfort. So group number 2, your person, they initially felt that you were really dealing with something that was like an obstacle that did drain you of energy, that like you you felt was not necessarily I'm not going to say not bad for you, but was helping you to identify the parts of yourself that you were uncomfortable with, or parts of your environment that you didn't want to be around, or people around you that you needed to take steps away from. So it seems like, this death, this kind of maturing and growing, it's something that it's kind of like a growth spurt where you feel some discomfort, but though that discomfort just indicates that something else is kind of expanding, strengthening, building. You have Scorpio, investigate. So group number 2, your person's initial impression of you is that you are a curious person, slightly intuitive, and also very protective. And we'll kind of get to the bottom of something. If something's bothering you, you're going to take a look at what that is. And you have this progressions journey card. So group number 2, your person's initial impression of you is that you definitely take interactions with people to heart, that you are very much shaped by the people that come into your life, and you shape, people whose life you've gone into as well. So this growth, this discomfort might not necessarily have been a breakup with a romantic person. It could be like moving out of a friend group, moving on from an old friend group, maybe even recognizing the people who were closer or like more supportive of you than initially thought, and vice versa. So let's see what else we have here. We have tomato, family, bloodline. So group number 2, your person's initial impression of you is that you really are loyal. That you are someone that will stick by someone through thick or thin. And perhaps that's why you picked this black obsidian dog, this concept of a true friend and loyalty. So they really see that, it's almost a sense of if you say you'll do something and someone's like relying on you, you'll absolutely see it through. You have monkey ball, weight, rigidity. So group number 2, your person also thought that you are someone who is trying to evolve, but you're we're stuck by the people, like whatever this family, this bloodline, to some degree. There are certain people around you, certain promises that you made possibly, that made it so it was harder for you to move past something, to move forward, and could be why there was that, like, the discomfort aspect of it. It's like you take on a lot of, I don't know if it's like you taking on other people's responsibilities, but their impression of you was that you will definitely hold on to something, possibly beyond what has served its purpose for you or its usefulness, because of your sense of loyalty. And Mountain Laurel, crisis trouble. So group number 2, your person's initial impression of you was that you are someone who will be with someone through thick or thin. That's what I was saying. And that sometimes you can get possibly lost in the weeds of other people's drama, possibly because you want to get to the bottom of something and want to help people out. So let's get more information about their initial impressions of you when it comes to your connection together. So let's see what they thought about the potential for your connection initially. King of Pentacles. So they thought that, you guys would eventually become friends, become more than friends, and end up in a place where there's this solid support of each other, material support, financial support of each other, really having gone through this journey together. So let's see how they thought like you portrayed yourself to others. Queen of Cups. So group number 2, your person's initial impression of how you portray yourself to others is someone who is supportive, someone who will take on their problems, help with their drama, possibly get stuck in their drama. You might not be someone who likes drama or gets stuck into it. Maybe it's part of this like Scorpio investigate aspect. Maybe you are a Scorpio or a different water sign, or someone who's just like intuitive, but someone who is really going to be there, help pick someone up when they fall, listen to their cries, even what's the word? What am I thinking of? Put band-aids on their cuts and things like that. Very, very, very supportive, and also needing possibly needing some time for yourself to recharge as well. So let's see, what did they think about your confidence? You have 2 of Swords here. So to some degree, group number 2, they really didn't think that you were someone that exuded a lot of confidence, but it's almost as if that's not something that you were concerned about. You were more concerned about making the right choices, helping other people see their choices and their options. It's like you weren't really cared about how other people saw you, and it could be part of this confidence that you have. So let's see how they thought you treated others. Knight of Pentacles. So group number 2, they initially thought that you treated others with respect and helping them see their own sense of worth and their own sense of value, and the fact that they should be like patting themselves on the back for what they have in life, what they can be in life, and just being part of your life. So let's see what they thought about your trustworthiness. Interesting. You have the Devil here. So they kind of thought that it's like they could confide in you because you presented yourself as this Queen of Swords, someone who would get into the drama, would be there to emotionally support them. So they thought you could take that confidence that people have in you and potentially make it so that you would be a crux for them, that you would be their problem solver, that you would be the person like that would go be down in the weeds with them. So, it's as if your trustworthiness, they did trust you, but you could also help them. What's the word? So if someone was in a bad relationship, let's say a friend of yours in a bad relationship and is talking to you about it, and you're constantly helping lift them up, then it's almost as if the connection between you two is somehow dependent on those bad relationships. and that you almost kind of like their weaknesses that they talk to you about gives power to your connection. And that's just an example. So it's like basically they trusted you, but it almost is like too much, you know, too much of a good thing is, what is that? You can't have too much of a good thing, or even things that are good for you too much can be bad. There's some saying along those lines where, too much of anything, something in excess. Anything in excess can be bad. Okay, so let's see, what do they think about how you dealt with conflict? 10 of Cups. So they really think that you are someone who will be there, to support the people you care about. Like I said, through thick or thin, and really be there in good times, be there in bad times, and ultimately help people like see the silver lining of any situation. So let's see what they hoped for the future of your connection. 7 of Pentacles. So they were hoping that this is something that would endure, that it was part of the journey where you would both gain something positive from the connection. So let's get into their current impressions of you. Well, that shuffle was horrible. Let's try that again. We'll just do normal shuffling. Okay. All right. So group number 2, their current impressions of you. You have Nourish the Shadow. So they currently see you as someone who recognizes that there is we all have shadow, we all have light and dark within us, and you are recognizing that the darkness within you and kind of making it so you're facing it head on. And so possibly it's part of that devil with your trustworthiness. So you're tapping in, they currently think that you are tapping more into your intuition and seeing like how deep you can go. You have this almost there Fox card. So group number 2, your person currently sees you as someone who is, with this journey card, is really progressing in life, in your spiritual journey, in your, journey towards whatever it is that you're trying to seek for your own personal growth, your own personal wealth. And it's almost as if they see you taking really huge leaps and kind of connecting the dots in really huge ways. And you have this Surrender to Receive Otter card. So group number 2, your person really sees you as someone who needs to kind of allow yourself not to be so strong for other people, to allow yourself more you time. And just, like that more you time will help you nourish your shadow, kind of tap into and investigate that a little bit more. You have this New Beginnings card. So group number 2, your person sees you as really, I'm not going to say transformation quite yet, but it's more as if they might be seeing you in a new way, or seeing you take on a new sense of self, or even possibly your relationship going in a new direction. You have this Trust card. Interesting. So they really feel like you're not only someone who will listen to people's drama, but they can trust you. Other people can trust you. they can confide in you, and that you are looking out for their best interests. And you have this truth. You have trust and truth. So group number 2, your person currently sees you as someone who definitely will speak your truth, is trying to find your own truth. It's as if these cards kind of feel like a spiritual, like they see you as having this spiritual path that you're going on. Maybe they see you as like a healer or a light bringer, or someone who really helps other people see their own potential and their own truth. So let's see what else we have here. So group number 2, you have this continue with these Lego blocks here. So they currently see you as someone, I was saying like not like transforming, but someone who is building, someone who is taking a new approach to something and using the everything you've learned along the way, what had made you uncomfortable in the past, the things that you felt you needed to like figure out the cause or the source, and how you like influence other people's lives and people influenced your life. It's as if you are really they think that you've taken all those things and are really putting together like a map or a master plan that can not only help you but help others. You have this on course. So group number 2, your person currently sees you as someone who, like I said, you're almost there, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. You have these new beginnings where you are, they're seeing some new aspect of you or drive in you that really is just expanding or building upon what was there before. And like they see you becoming even more amazing, and possibly even with this monkey ball weight rigidity, being able to maybe not necessarily not take on other people's responsibilities or not help them through, but help them navigate their own course of their own life. And you have this gaining speed card. So group number 2, your person thinks that you really are, like I said, advancing forward in a new way that is really exciting. At least that's the way they see it. And also in a way that's like, this keeps wanting to fly off, in a way that's not just spiritual, but it's also a way of seeing things at a higher level. Perhaps if you're not doing something spiritual, if you're not pursuing a profession with that, perhaps you're taking some type of courses, or you are teaching people how to improve their lives, like a life coach or counselor, something along those lines. So let's get into this current connection of yours. So what do they think about this current connection? This card wants to come out. Oh, we have 5 of Swords. So this is a card of winning at all costs, not knowing when to walk away from a lose-lose situation. So let's see how they currently think you portray yourself to others. 2 of Wands. So it's a sense like that they think you are portraying yourself as having one foot in and one foot out of whatever relationship. Like it's almost as if they know you are on like a higher plane and trying to not dumb yourself down, but almost like simplify yourself down for other people. Like dim your light almost. Let me see. Let's see, what do they think about your confidence at this point? This card wants to come out. they have Four of Pentacles here. So they think that your confidence is really making it so you are kind of isolating yourself, or making it so that you are focused on you. You weren't focused on you before. You were focused on helping others and like not focused on your own confidence. But now it's like they think that you are finally getting yourself, not finally, but you are aligning yourself so that you are taking care of yourself first. So let's see how they think you treat others at this point. You have the Justice card. So they definitely think, again, that concept of trust and truth. It's almost like they recognize you are being fair, but there's almost a sense of them feeling slightly judged. And that could be this Five of Swords here, of like the current connection with you. It's as if they're trying to outsmart you, or feel like you know something that could take them down. Maybe it's something they told you before or someone told you, but they think that the way you treat others is along the lines of, it's almost like a lawyer, that you can see things that other people can't see, that you understand how, like I said, making those big leaps and connecting those dots, you are able to do that more so than they can. And that can be a little uncomfortable for people. It's kind of like people who are psychic. If someone is psychic, they know all your dirty secrets and your clean secrets. So it's just a sense of fear of what that psychic might know. And, so it's almost that kind of sense. So let's take a look at your trustworthiness. How do they see your trustworthiness? You have Nine of Wands. So here they feel like you would protect whatever it is that you think is right and honorable and true. And for people who are concerned about being morally judged, they would have a problem with that. So let's take a look at what they think about how you deal with conflict now. You have the Sun. So you had 10 of Cups before, and with the Sun now, it's like you bring that truth in. You shine a light on whatever is dark, and you're like, this is fact, this is fact, this is false, this is assumption. Hey, no one has to feel bad about this. So even though this person, your person here, kind of has this Five of Swords about your current connection, you would be like, that's not true. This is the fact. This is how I see our connection. Or, this is the way it is, and like shine a light on that. So let's see what they hope for the future of your connection. Page of Cups. So they are kind of hoping that it develops and grows in a way where there is a sense of wonder and connection between you two that grows, and not necessarily a competition, or not necessarily, it's almost as if they feel slightly in your shadow, this nourished shadow thing that that's one of their current impressions of you. It's almost making me wonder if they feel like that you are this light and they are in the shadow of your brightness. But this is what I have for you. I hope this provides a helpful perspective of the impression your person first had of you and how they see you now. We'll see you next time. Take care. Welcome back. This is a reading for group number 3, those who picked the green Aventurine Owl to dig into your person's first impressions of you and how they see you now. So, group number 3, let's take a look at those initial impressions. You have this disruption card. So your person, they initially kind of saw you as someone who would want to kind of disrupt the flow of things, but in a way that is not destructive, in a way that kind of like realigns or like breaks the stagnation of something. So it's kind of like if there are a bunch of people waiting in line, you know, kind of looking the same direction, kind of standing a certain distance apart, like you deciding to right then kind of start dancing or something, or like start talking to people and start like a whole discussion in the crowd, like to disrupt the flow in a very like positive way, more to kind of show your jovialness, your happiness, you know, or just wanting to liven things up a bit. You have this frustration card. So group number 3, your person initially thought that this is how you dealt with frustration or things that weren't necessarily to your liking. So again, that concept of like being in line, like kind of doing what you think you're supposed to be doing and trying to like do something that is out of the ordinary just to get people to, you know, see things in a different way, or to kind of not be so much not conforming to a norm, but just conforming to a certain sense of boredom or acceptance, or like accepting that, you know, just being, but not appreciating what is being presented around them, not being involved, just kind of being separate from what's going on, because they're not really thinking about what they're doing. It's like they're just going through the motions. And you have this card of trust. So group number 3, your person, their first impression of you is that you trusted yourself, that you were someone who definitely maybe not, you don't think you were confident, or you weren't trying to show yourself as being confident, but that you were someone who would do what you felt, you know, even if it wasn't accepted or wasn't the norm, or it was trying to break people out of like a monkey mind, like just kind of just going through the routine. They definitely saw that you trusted yourself to know that this is what people needed. You have this Leo shine card. So perhaps you're a Leo group number 3, or some other fire sign like Aries or Sagittarius, but you were someone that they felt demanded attention. You know, maybe it wasn't like, hey, look at me, but in doing this like disruption and doing things that broke the mold almost, it definitely made it that they felt people would pay attention to you. And there is that kind of wonder of whether or not there is ego involved. So let's see what else they thought of you. You have this dignified strength, which is actually, strength is the major arcana card for the sign of Leo. So they really felt that this strength that you have, this attention that people gave to you, was because of this trust that you have in yourself to kind of do something out of the ordinary, to do something extraordinary, to do something that not only lifted you up, but those around you. And you have this 12th house of introspection. So, group number 3, your person's initial impression of you is that you are possibly either hiding something. Maybe they felt you were overly outspoken, where you were trying to project the strength that maybe they didn't know you really had, or that you had the ability to kind of not necessarily like go down to a dark place, but be very, well, yeah, the things that you were trying to like break up on the surface, how have other people see that they were more than just a spoke in the wheel, that they could really direct their lives, that there might be something about you where that came from some kind of struggle that you might have had to deal with yourself or were dealing with. You have this Bluebonnet Bravery Sacrifice card. So group number 3, your person, their first impression of you really kind of indicated that you are brave, that you have this kind of courageous strength to kind of do something that is out of the ordinary, and you were willing to really put yourself in the line of fire to have people, think that you were odd, or that you were an attention getter, or you were a nonconformist, something along those lines. You have poison ivy, irritability, profanity. So group number 3, your person's first impression of you was that you really kind of spoke your mind. You could rub people the wrong way because maybe this frustration card isn't only you being frustrated by seeing people try to fit in and just be normal, but it could be that you calling people out, or you trying to show how people are just kind of almost zombies in their own life is something that other people would find kind of irritating. And perhaps you like to cuss. I know I do sometimes. You have Death Cap Mushroom, Avarice, Foul Play. Interesting. So group number 3, your person's first impression of you is that you could potentially be someone that could harm people, could harm yourself, could be this like great center of attention person and just lead everyone to their demise. Like, for example, it's like, hey, let's not study for this this exam. Let's just go out and party, and everyone fails the test, or something along those lines. Or like, hey, let's blow off working late and just go to happy hour and then stick someone with the bill. So let's take a look at Pastel Journey Tarot deck to find out more about what your person thought about your connection potential initially. So we have Princess of Swords. So group number 3, your person, they initially thought, they were curious about the potential of your connection. They were thinking this is something that intrigued them. You were an enigma, a puzzle. So let's see how they thought you betrayed yourself to others. Emperor. So this is another fire sign associated with Aries. So they really thought that you portrayed yourself as being in control, being powerful, got some being in charge. So let's see what they thought about your confidence. Knight of Wands. So they thought another fire sign. They thought that your confidence was like through the roof. And that's could be part of what's like the irritability aspect. That really you had this confidence of um you can like really take the whole crowd's attention and redirect it, and it's almost like that thing where there's like a party, and it's like a really tame party, and you go there and you're just like, hey, this is kind of boring, why don't we go outside and play hopscotch, and everyone's like, yes, let's do that. And so really your confidence is pretty through the roof, or that's what they thought of you. So let's see how they thought you treated others initially. This card wants to come out. Ooh, Seven of Swords. So in this deck, the Seven of Swords is kind of like someone who keeps things to themselves on a need to know basis. So it's not necessarily liar, stealer, cheater card. That's like the reverse Seven of Swords, but a lot of people might see that. So we'll kind of keep going and see if they thought you were more like it does seem like with that you're portraying yourself as the emperor. It's like, I'll tell you, where, when, and who if you need to know. So let's see what they thought of your trustworthiness. King of Cups. So they thought that you were someone who people could confide in, that you'd be emotionally supportive, that you really didn't get involved with people's dramas, and that you really are wanting the best for everyone ultimately. Like, that's kind of why you do what you do, the way that this disruption, getting people to see that they're greater than just complacency and just acceptance. So let's see what they think, or what they thought about how you dealt with conflict. You had the Hangman. So they thought that you really had the like that sense of just holding back and trying to see things from a different perspective, and recognizing like, whatever people are going through, that's them dealing with it themselves. It really has nothing to do with me. That was me giving my impersonation of you, which is their impression of you. Okay, so let's take a look about what they were hoping for the future of your connection. Knight of Cups. Okay, so they were really wanting this connection to be, it could be a romantic connection if your person is someone that you're romantically connected to or want to be romantically connected to, but also if it's a platonic friendship, they really did want a heartfelt connection. Either which way you look at that. So now, group number 3, let's get into how they see you now. So current impressions. Keep trying, Starfish. So group number 3, your person really sees you as taking different approaches to a situation where you're going to find success. If one way doesn't work out, you're going to try a different way. You're going to help people, see those different ways as well. And that's kind of part of that disruption aspect, is like, some people might see one or two paths or two options, but you are going to try and take the option that feels right for you. So what else we have here? Focus on the big picture. You've got this hawk here. So group number 3, your person really sees that you are, in what you do, how you treat others, how you kind of see life, you are looking at the bigger picture of things. You're not trying to get involved with the superficial drama of things. You are really trying to almost live your life in a certain way where you're challenging the barriers, you're challenging expectations. And you have this face your fear card. So, right now, your person, they see you as someone who's like, oh, you don't want to go on that date? Well, guess what? Go on that date. You don't want to have to clean your room? Well, guess what? Clean your room. So they're very much aware that you are someone who is, like I said, most people might see one or two options. They are kind of afraid of doing something. They might push it off, or they might just you know, ignore it for a little bit. But with you, they're just like, no, that person, they are going to make you do that exact thing you don't necessarily want to do. You're going to do it in different ways where it doesn't necessarily, it's no longer a fear. So let's see what else we have. We have this truth card. So group number 3, your person, they see you as someone who is going to speak your truth, that you're going to almost like force people to see things, not necessarily your way, but all the different various ways where truth is like revealing itself in a situation. We have empowerment. So group number 3, your person currently sees you as someone who not only is trying to portray yourself to others as someone with power, but they recognize you are really trying to embrace that in everything you do and show other people how to embrace that as well. How to have, how to kind of break up the stagnancy of their own expectations of themselves in their life and really, break their own mold. And you have this animals card. So group number 3, and we have here like this dove that is flying here. We have this flying animal and this flying animal. And you pick the Aventurine Owl. So here it seems like the animals that you've picked that have been showing up in this deck, besides this Leo lion over here and the horse, are animals that really do kind of rise above. They see things from a higher perspective. They trust their instincts, and they are, there's a wisdom and like old soul about them. So let's see what else we have. So this is kind of their current impression of you. Twin flames. So they feel that you two are twin flames, reflections of each other to some degree. We have this fall card. So perhaps they see you as someone who really enjoys the fall, or they see you as someone who would smile even when falling. Someone who even if you are going down, you are going to have fun doing it. And you have this your move card. So group number 3, your person, they currently see you as someone who really you will succeed in wherever it is you go. Whatever it is you do, you are constantly going to be in a position of winning, of having that sense of empowerment. So, and still shining. So let's see here. We're going to take a look at the Star Seeker Tarot to find out about your current connection with this person. Okay, so let's see what they think about your current connection. Oh, these are upside down. Okay. Wow, so this is a 10 of Swords. So this deck has this ghost kind of hanging on to this person. So it may be that your current connection is hit rock bottom, or it's a sense of the connection that you had with each other um, is no longer the way it used to be. So let's find out what that means. Let's see how they think you portray yourself to others at this point. 9 of Swords. Interesting. So here you've got this like big bear behind this individual, kind of like it's like overshadowing almost. So to some degree, they think that you portray yourself as almost like like something in the back of their mind, telling them what they're doing wrong, telling them what they should be doing better. So let's take a look at what they think about your confidence at this point. The High Priestess. So they really feel that you, again, with the 7 of Swords over here, they do think that you keep a lot of information to yourself and that you don't necessarily kind of show off your confidence. It's more that the things that you keep to yourself show that you don't need to necessarily get people's approval. It's almost as if they're slightly threatened by that. It's this like their current connection. This is almost like a sense of them trying to figure it out, figure themselves out, figure out their position in your life. And this is like how you portray yourself to others. It's almost as if that's how they feel you are for them. You are this like big personality. You are this big, strong force. And to some degree, it's almost like the things that you aren't saying, they wonder if you're not saying because you're like, you think they're not doing what they should do, or kind of not being as they should be and not being as strong as you, but without telling them. So let's see how they think you treat others. You have 2 of Cups here. So they absolutely recognize that this, this aspect of you trying to empower other people, that it is there. It's almost a sense they feel that they're failing in that. But you treat other people with kindness and you give as much as you take. You possibly can give more than you take. So let's see about your trustworthiness. 6 of Cups. So they trust you. There's a sense of balance and harmony with you. They understand that you are there to support them and that, they will look upon your connection as something that is special to them, that helped them grow. So let's see, what do they think about how you deal with conflict now? Again, this Strength card and this Lion, they really feel that you are this gentle giant, that you really are using your patience, using tenderness and love and acceptance, and you want people to have that for themselves. So this person here that you are, this reading is coming from or about, they really want to be that for you. They want to be able to deal with their own, darkness, their own shadow, and be as loving and gentle as you are. So let's see what they want for the future of your connection. 3 of Cups. So they want to be able to celebrate and enjoy their connection with you. They want to, you know, celebrate good times. They want to party with you. They want to really be a confidant, someone close to you. So, this is what I have. I hope this provides a helpful perspective of the impression your person first had of you and how they see you now. We'll see you next time. Take care.